What is happiness? It's the art of staying grateful. But if there's a tsunami, if my house is burnt, can I stay in gratitude? Yes, because every single tragedy has inside the seed of a fortune bigger than that tragedy if you choose to stay put into the divinity that you are. Then it's so much easier. No need to learn anything. If there's a tragedy coming, know it's a lesson. It's not a punching thing, unless you choose that, which is okay. It's not wrong, it's not right, but it's not convenient.
Welcome to the MINDTRX Podcast, where we explore breakthrough ideas on how to live your best life possible. I'm Dr. Paul Scheele, and today I'm joined by a truly radiant guest, Gloria Belendez-Ramirez, for a conversation that will remind you of something you may have forgotten. Your natural state is joy, love, and expansion. In this episode, Gloria shares the life-changing moment when she moved from fear and contraction to gratitude and freedom almost instantly through a profound shift in perception. We'll explore how emotional discomfort can shape the body, how appreciation opens a doorway to healing, and how the way we see determines what we're able to receive. You'll also hear a powerful metaphor she calls cleaning the table, a simple way to clear emotional clutter, release criticism, and return to the wholeness that has been there all along. And near the end, Gloria offers a beautiful daily practice you can use in just a minute, especially when you feel overwhelmed, in order to come back into balance and peace. If you're ready to reconnect with awe, gratitude, and the deeper truth of who you are, this episode is for you. Let's get started. Hello, Glorious. Gloria, it's so good to have you here on the MINDTRX Podcast. What a pleasure. What a delight. Thank you for being here.
Oh my God, if I can tell everyone who's watching this and whoever is not watching this, just the joy that my 50 trillion cells feel is immense. There's a kipinche vidon, which means what a damn great life. 50 trillion times in my body. It's going to all of you. I just want everybody to know that Paul Scheele is in my life a great presence, because it was around the time I met Jack Canfield and Master Chunjin Lin and Jetta Mali. Learning strategies used to arrive to my home in envelopes, not in email. So everybody just know that we are long time friends.
Long time. And I've had the privilege of staying at your beautiful retreat facility home in San Miguel de Allende with dear friends of mine from Mexico. And we've got so much great energy to share. And I really appreciate that we have this opportunity to do so. Thank you so much. I'd like to start out because my clients have no idea who you are, and I really want them to really get a sense of where you're coming from. You wrote a couple of very beautiful books. One called My Dreams Are Non-Negotiable carries a very spiritually bold message out into the world. And you described a shift that took just a minute, but it moved you from a place, as you described, feeling sickly and fear of everything, to really being free from yourself. And I'd like you to describe that shift that occurred. What was that about for you?
Thank you for asking. See how happy that makes me. I want all of you to realize that it can happen, and get up, sit down, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live dead in my childhood because I was scared of my parents. They were the ogres, and now they are my heroes. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we all have just glasses. If you change them, how long does it take you to change the glasses? Look, no time. So when I felt that they didn't love me, a child crushes, and her health, my health, shut down my nervous system into epilepsy. I didn't know what kind of sickness I had. My mother was so brave to let me live anyway, because I could go swimming and then not come back, right? With it, you have one of those attacks in the water. She just let me be. Mommy, gracias. So for 7 years, I took medication, and I wrote here, I'm an idiot, you can kick me. I felt I'm nobody. I felt there's no reason for me to even live. What is this nonsense? And I found there was a way to please my parents by being really good at school, and I would study long hours. But I remember, ironing my father's shirt to please my mom. And when she came back, I said, "This is how you don't know how to do anything." Yeah, of course. I didn't understand later on, 7 years later. I was maybe 14, 15, 16. And I was at the hospital because they had removed my tonsils. Because when you are scared, you're sick, period. Sickness is created by emotional discomfort. And if it's a big discomfort, it will hit your organs. Especially it hits the breathing and, of course, the digestive system.
Yeah.
Okay. They do this. And I had the biggest revelation in that hospital room. My father comes with a juice. For me, there's nobody else in the room. So this ogre comes, but because I'm numbed by the anesthesia, our natural state of being is divinity. Yes, 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 you stole. Yes, you killed. So what? You're still divine. That's not negotiable. Your thoughts are. We'll come to that later. You are divinity, yes, and period. We're talking about thoughts now. So this is this divine girl who always thought she's not. So she can't hold the hand of God because she doesn't know it exists. And all of a sudden, I feel appreciation. Paul, appreciation, not the fear of this groomy person that's going to scream at me and tell me you're good for nothing. And it's not that he said that every day, but it takes once only, right? And he comes in and I go, what? Then he starts walking towards me with a tear in his eye this time. And I can never forget that. He's crying for me. Ogres don't cry. And that, alhamdulillah, which means thank you, went into alhamdulillah. The God's voice came and told me, see, Gloria, you invented it all. They do love you. They, he didn't say he, they, mom and dad. And I go, what? They do love you. When you are in that extreme feeling of gratitude, here it's called subhanallah. Wonder, let's wonder God. Then all my 50 trillion cells, which I didn't know then, any of this information, started sending me into an expansion state. You start just going in all directions. And then the God voice said, giving me a key. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, be aware that you listen, not to say, this is the invention of the mind. No, remember you are divine. You came from two miraculous, where did they come from? Cells, became one cell in your mother's uterus, and that cell started dividing itself 2, 4, 8, 16, until 50 trillion after 9 months, and you came to life. Neither your mother nor you did anything for that to happen. So yes and yes, it's not negotiable that you're divine. Divine meaning you come from a force of life that creates in constant motion, in beauty and benevolence, period. You want to doubt it? It's your choice, but it's not happening. It's just your thoughts. So my thoughts changed then when I see and I feel. Now the key was, ask your parents how they were raised. How on earth would I think something like that or ask something like that? That tells you there's this connection. Just hold the hand. That's all. I hold the hand of God. I held it. And then when I asked my mother, later, after I was outside the hospital, Mom, how did my grandma Victoria raise you? And she told me that my grandma Victoria was even stricter with her than she with me. While Grandma Victoria, by that time, was my cradle when my mother was tough with me. She would be there for me whenever she would be in my house. So I said, what? What happened? I just understood. My mother was doing that because that's what her mother taught her. Be strict so they can be strong when you're not here. All of a sudden, all Scheele, my whole body. Nothing to forgive. What does that even mean? Because to forgive means, I give you a chance, Mom, I got it. No, understand. Understand that she did what she could with what she had to train me the way she knows. She's not Chinese, she's Mexican. She's Ramirez, she's not Marafusis, right? So she did it with what she had. So fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, whatever you're doing now, you're doing with the tools that you have. So get closer to learning strategies so you get tools that help you.
Well, I love what you're saying about this unseen intergenerational dynamic that's influencing this lineage of this is how we do it. I could also call it a mental model, but it's certainly felt by the child. And the experience of contraction that was in your body and the experience of expansion that emerged after that revelation is so important. Joy, love, expansion. That's who we were meant to be. But because we are channeled into this narrow identity of who people think we should be to be appropriate in society, it really shifts a lot of what the real beauty and power is within us. I like to quote Buckminster Fuller, who said, we're all born geniuses. Or as you say, we're all divine beings here having a human experience. So what is it that we can do to reclaim that? And I love that that's what you have been doing ever since that, certainly in the way you raised your children. Beautiful description of that in your book. I'd like to focus on this. You describe it as a magic platform based on both benevolence and gratitude. You said your decision was to focus on what makes you feel good, what makes you feel like you're having fun, what makes you feel like you're useful in contributing to the world, and that you're going to take care of you so that these can all occur. Now, a lot of people would say, well, isn't that kind of selfish? But psychologists say, no, that's smart selfishness. That's a kind of selfish that we need to have. We need to put on our own oxygen mask before we help others on the airplane, right? So what is that shift to taking care of you and your joy in the world?
You see these flowers?
Mm-hmm.
They come from God, just like you and me. I put them here with this candle because this conversation is super, super connected to Mother Earth. Fire, earth in the form of the mother of these flowers, water inside here, and the air. It's there. If it were not there, I wouldn't be breathing. So these four elements, remembering I'm an earthling first. And as an earthling, I was created by that supreme force in beauty and benevolence. If she's beautiful, so am I. There's a snake. You don't like snakes. That has nothing to do with the beauty of the snake. So what I want to say here is, Paul Scheele, if I give you a gift, how are you going to treat that gift? And if God gives you a gift, how are you going to treat that gift? So if this is a gift from God, so I can beautify the interior of my house and this conversation, this gift, I revere it. I revere it. It comes from God. When my mom saw me coming in her tummy bigger and bigger, I realized now, oh my God, how did that even happen? How can I be talking? How can I be moving my fingers and having this palpitations that are together with the beat of Mother Earth? How? Never will know. Don't even waste your time wanting to know because it doesn't matter. Just feel it. Feel it and be it. You are divine by design. Your thoughts are the ones that will let you, yes or no, run in that divinity. The divinity will tell you, just hold the hand of God. He's right there. So its light will come into you and all your organs and your 50 trillion cells will be illuminated. So along comes a thief with a gun. But I know he's divine too. I know it. I'm holding the hand of God. I know everything has been created by source. So I will tell that as long as I stay in the middle pillar, I stay in the middle, in appreciation and in listening. I know you are divine, Why are you holding that gun? I said, what? Give me your money. Well, I can give you the money, but is that going to help you? What's going to help you is to remember you're divine, just like me. He said, what are you talking about? I tell you, he will drop the gun because you care. You care for that person. You're not encapsulating him. You're a thief. How do you know that this person was not present at the murder of his own mom? How do you know? But I know that you are divine, just like me, just like him, just like the rats, just like the snakes, and just like the flowers. No negotiation there. So that's the way to get back to it. Don't study books, don't do things, just feel how it helped me after that incident in that hospital. Now I saw the trees differently. Now I could receive. That's another tool. Receive. When you don't feel you're good enough, you just want to give so that people will give you crumbles. Let's see, if I give this, I get some crumbles. Now you're a child of source. Somehow I could feel what makes me feel good. Before, how would you know? Put the sweater on. I'm not called. Put it on. I don't like bananas. Eat it, or else I'll give you more. How would you know if I like bananas or sweaters? How do I know if they don't let me experience? They did it with goodwill. Now that I can receive, now that I know that they are not ogres, they are my heroes. I listen. Oh, I see this other perspective. I changed my glasses. Appreciation and listening. Those two versus criticizing and judging. If you feel like you're criticizing, bring that criticism kindly to you and say, why are you criticizing, Gloria? And then be kind to that. It will melt into appreciation.
I love that idea that so often we do have an internal voice, which is a cynic, it's fearful, it is judging and critical. And that same capacity to judge also has the ability to discern, to make a fine distinction. And how does somebody come to know that internal voice is truly the voice of a higher source and not just one's own wishes, desires, and fears?
Can I ask you a question? If I poke you with a knife, are you going to feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the same thing. You're going to feel it here. It feels good. Now, you might be numb because you're so scared, like I was. So, for me, what works a lot is to go out and remember you are nature. Not You are not going to visit nature. That tree is your ancestor. That volcanic stone is your ancestor. We are here 300,000 years, I think. Volcanic rocks are millions of years here. So if you go to her and sit on it, of course she can tell you what to do or not to do according to what you feel. We need to stop thinking so much. Now you have this very famous phrase. It is proven scientifically that, but isn't science created to explain the miracles of nature? So now it has to be scientifically proven so that you can receive it. Doesn't make any sense. So no, you are divine. You are nature. Go to nature. Feel how the mosquitoes, if you treat them kindly, they will not harm you. You will give them a little. How much can a mosquito take from your blood? Sartain. I hope this does you good. You know, mosquitoes are the food for our birds, and the birds create the possibility of us having fruit. So go ahead. When you see that you are offering the blood, the venom will not affect you. Only if you say, stupid mosquito, and you kill it, then it will.
Yeah. No, the description that I heard is you will feel it. You will feel the difference between a judgment that's contracting you and a recognition that's expanding you. You go to nature, you go to expansion, you go to awe, you go to joy, you go to life, you go to criticism and fear, you go to death, you go to illness, dis-ease. So that if rather than trying to figuring it out in our head, we just tune into what our body knows, we're going to be there. And I'd like to talk a bit about getting to that place where when the circumstances we're in don't seem joyful, how we can move to a place of joy. And you describe a really useful metaphor in your book called cleaning the table. Would you talk a bit about that?
I love it.
The emotional clutter.
I've been married 42 years. I'm married to a wonderful man that has another wife before me. I am a Mexican full of colors. Here, women cover their bodies in black. So you can imagine the contrast and the kind of visionary man that would marry somebody so different. And me too, marry somebody, when I married him and I came here, I could have been just kidnapped here. You can't go out if I had a husband that was not who he is. So what serves me a lot when I have a little obstacle is to remember all the goodies that we have had in these 42 years. So you set the table. There's a nice, beautiful, white, long buffet table, and you have all these delightful meals. And you, for some reason, you're in a bad mood, and you take the spaghetti sauce and you put it on your beautiful white tablecloth. And you start saying, oh no, oh my God, look at this. And then you divorce because you saw that little bit of sauce on the tablecloth. Just clean the table completely because it happens, Don't clean that because it was so hurtful when I dropped that tomato sauce there. It hurt so much. So clean, but don't clean here because also there it was very painful. No, clear the whole thing. Bring a new tablecloth. Have that one washed and have a new experience. Just don't forget how wonderful everything else is just because of one thing that you feel is wrong, you're criticizing. Remember, when you criticize, you're not in the middle pillar. You're in the contraction. Your heart is going to bleed. Nelson Mandela said, hatred is like drinking poison, thinking that the enemy will die. And the one dying is your heart, your lungs, your faith, your trust, your life. Choose. What do you want to choose?
Yeah, when we choose to live with 5 vital emotions: joy, which is the energy of the heart; peace, which is the stomach and the pancreas. When we live in contentment with the lungs, the breath, when we live in gratitude, which is the kidney energy and water, and we live with happiness, which is the energy of the liver, we have these 5 essential emotions: peace, contentment, gratitude, happiness, joy. These are our natural state. These are expansion. These are restoring. These are health. And if, as you say, we've got some emotional baggage that's on our table, to clear the table is to return to not only those 5, but the one which is what all of those represent, which is love. And as it's described, love casteth out all fear, right? So if we can replace our judgment and our fear and our worries and our concerns with the idea that I'm living in love, I'm living in appreciation and joy and happiness and contentment with what is right now, who I am, who we are, everything is going to be okay. And we can really come back to that.
I want to mention something, may I?
Yes.
The word we, you mentioned now, we. There's no such thing as I. There is such thing as my body that God gave me, so that Gloria can choose which way she wants to go or not go. Choose appreciation or choose criticism, yes. But we are intertwined, Paul Scheele. How many years we know each other? And it's like I saw you yesterday. So the we thing also helps a lot. You mentioned the 5. If it's the kidney with the happiness or this and that, people are going to get confused. Oh, now I need to study about this, that. It's wonderful that scientists put it names like this. But I tell you, the best way is to just let go and just feel. Go back to the day you were born. Go back to the day you were conceived. Okay, maybe you are conceived by rape. I don't want to be here. Okay, but you are. So you want to choose. You want to choose hating, and then dying because you hate the others? Or you want to choose, it feels good. It just feels good. If it's the kidneys, the stomach, or the whatever you call it, joy, this actual desire to know everything, describe everything, and measure everything. Talk to a bird. Talk to a tree. They don't know what today means. They don't know any of that. Nature already chose to be happy because that's our natural state of being. And what is happiness? It's the art of staying grateful, especially if there's a tsunami. Because it's easy to be grateful with you and me here. We're lovely people. We don't have guns or any of that. We just want to share our joy. And that's why you have learning strategies. And we have Villas Hishu. And whatever it is, our hugs. But if there's a tsunami, if my house is burnt, can I stay in gratitude? Yes, because every single tragedy has inside the seed of a fortune bigger than that tragedy if you choose to stay put into the divinity that you are. Then it's so much easier. No need to learn anything. If there's a tragedy coming, know it's a lesson. It's not a punging thing, unless you choose that, which is okay. It's not wrong. It's not right, but it's not convenient. What's convenient for you is to know that your tree, your body, your organs are all in the health required so that you can give your best and receive the best. Now you can share with your children or receive from your children, your spouse, whoever, whatever. Now you're living in love. And what is love? Love is to create in constant motion in beauty and benevolence. So it doesn't have any attachment with you make me happy. I love you because in your company I grow and this and that. That's attachment. And then you put another person, my happiness, if you're there, I'm happy. Oh, no. Love is to create in constant motion in beauty and benevolence, meaning I love my husband so deeply that I'm in constant state of appreciation of him. Constantly, wherever I look, I feel him, whether I'm in Mexico, in Dubai, wherever. I feel the admiration I feel for this amazing man who has constructed such an empire here in Saudi Arabia, and yet is the humblest person and the most generous from the heart. I feel it everywhere. Appreciation, admiration. Now you're not bonded. The real love is to create in constant motion, in beauty and benevolence.
And I love the idea of creation, because mother energy is really in all of your work. There is if we could say, a spiritual leadership message that you teach. It really comes from that concept of birthing something new. When I stayed at Villa Zichu, in your description, I did not build this. I didn't create it. It was born. And I would like to talk about spiritual orgasms, your book. I love that title. It's so fun. But you talked about creation not as, I'm going to visualize this, I'm going to picture it over there, and then I'm going to make it happen. But you visualize as if you were remembering a future event that was to occur, that already has occurred. So could you help make that distinction? Because so many people want to create, but they're creating with an efforting and a will and a fear, versus a recognition, a breath, an experience of letting it flow through you.
If we go back to the day that we were conceived and literally feel how that first cell divides, and we start growing, then there's two hearts in the mother, the own and the child's. And there's two heartbeats in the mother. So your mother, yes and yes, is a super important factor that if you manage to revere her, don't understand her, just revere her like you revere your body. Oh my God, it is so much easier for you to reach, to remember your own divinity. So when you feel like this, in this state of awe, wherever you go, I went to Mexico because it was hard for me to stay with my children in a hot country where everything is black. And I felt, what if my daughter, now I had a daughter, what if my daughter doesn't know how to live freely? Because here there's this, there was not like today. Like today you can come and you can be dressed like this. But at that time, we have mutawas, they had a stick and they would hit you if you're not covered and things like that. I went to Mexico. My husband said, you want to have a holiday in Mexico? And I stayed instead of 5 days, 4 years, because I could feel the flow. So this is what you mentioned, actually. I have a life partner that knows how to, his way also to admire me. So let me flow. This is real love. We create in constant motion, in beauty and benevolence, Ibrahim and myself. So when I'm in Mexico, and I love San Miguel de Allende, I love the people, the vibrance, the food, the weather, everything. All of a sudden, God talked to me and said, buy a property here so your children can put their Mexican coat on. And so we bought a piece of property that was 4,000 square meters. Now we're 14,000 square meters. But the first intention was go and relax there. Then my feeling was I want to stay longer. So 4 years, we decided I'll go back to Middle East, to Lebanon, when Yusuf goes to elementary school. What I want to say, it's all the flow. You just need to remember, it's a choice. You are the one that chooses to live mediocrely in the fear or live fully in the yes, and yes, this is fun. The book's name is Spiritual Orgasms, Vivid Encounters in the Now. Vivid encounters in the now means you go into this extreme awe, and that's a spiritual orgasm. It has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with allowing this expansion of the orgasm to just go there. And you're not going to check if people are looking at you or not. You're just if just sharing what you're feeling, and because it's the essence of humankind, others will just jump in with you. And that's when you create this. I had no clue that that house that was supposed to be a place where my children can wear their Mexicanity was going to be a 14,000 square meter with 8 villas, 3 pools, Temazcal and temple and Victoria's Conference Center for people to come and remember you are divine. When you remember, you are giving the world the best service because it's contagious. And guess what? You don't need medication because you're at ease. Not at this ease, you're at ease. And that's where you, with your so many years of sharing with this beautiful learning strategies, give people all these tools. This is why they're partners.
Yes. And a thing that occurred to me when I read the title of your book, Spiritual Orgasm, in French, they call the orgasm le petit mort, the little death. And I thought, there's probably a good metaphor in that we're dying to that limited self and we're awakening to the real full potential of who we are.
And don't be afraid to die.
Right.
You will be reborn at each breath.
Yes. And I think that's like putting on the glasses can happen right now at any time. Well, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for being here. I want to ask if someone right now is inspired, but maybe a little bit overwhelmed, what might be a simple daily practice that they could do? Maybe a 60-second practice that would really help them shift into this greater joy, this creative flow, that they could really embody it and know it as their own.
If you are overwhelmed, it will be difficult for you to really do anything else but just breathe. When you breathe, remember, God is breathing you. What is this God? I don't believe in God. Okay. There is a power that created those 2 cells. So call it all, whatever you want. But it's something, And when you breathe, remember that oxygen comes from the trees. So what I do is I love the pink color as a metaphor of joy. So the tree is giving me the pink, beautiful oxygen. I inhale it. I know God is breathing me because I didn't go to university in my mother's womb to learn how to get just the oxygen, exhale the carbon dioxide. I didn't learn any of that. And I came out as a baby breathing. So evidently, I'm divine. Evidently. If it's foggy for you to believe it, never mind. Just go with the flow. Breathe in the pink oxygen joyfully. Feel it goes all the way to your brain. It's joyfully. So now your thoughts are going to be peaceful. Color of empathy is purple. Purple. So you exhale purple. You inhale pink, 50-50, you exhale purple. You don't owe anything to anyone. Nobody owes you anything. I inhale pink and I exhale purple. Inhale pink, exhale purple. In other words, I'm learning how to receive and give equally. That is so important because honestly, we owe nothing to anyone. We are divine. So I have encountered many times people who are afraid of giving because now they're scared of of receiving because now they're scared of having to give. So no, just take the oxygen. Forget about everything. Forget about the bills, about the boys, about the girls, about mustard, about whatever. Just go into your lungs that are taking the oxygen, putting it in the flow of your blood, and you are exhaling the carbon dioxide, and the trees will convert it into pink and purple. So buy something that's pink and purple, put it there somewhere, and when you're overwhelmed, take care of you. Remember, if your body is nice and still and hydrated and well-fed, well-slept, you can only hug you and hug others.
That's so wonderful. You're wearing your beautiful headdress with purple, and I've got my purple pocket silk. So You and I
Yeah,
both
see, and we didn't
understand.
even speak about it.
No. Gloria, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to be with you. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, and I expect you at Willis Hishu anytime soon.
Oh, thank you so much.
God bless.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Gloria Belendez-Ramirez. Her reminders about divinity, appreciation, and the difference between contraction and expansion offer a powerful way to return to what's most natural and most healing within us. To learn more about Gloria and her work, visit her website at happiestgloria.com. And now in the second part of the podcast, it's just you and me. I'll show you how to use paraliminal audio sessions in the MINDTRX app to help you apply what we explored today, especially if you want to quiet the inner critic, clear emotional clutter, and reconnect with the joy, gratitude, and inner guidance available to you. If you're new to paraliminals, these guided audio sessions engage your whole mind, conscious and non-conscious, in about 20 minutes. They're designed to help you release old patterns, reduce resistance, and embody the deeper truth of who you are. In the next segment, I'll highlight 5 themes from today's conversation: instant identity shifts, joy practice, effortless letting go, visualization creates reality, and non-negotiable dreams. And I'll recommend 1 or 2 paraliminals for each of these areas to help you apply these ideas in your daily life. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back. We get the opportunity to think a little more deeply about my conversation with Gloria Belendez-Ramirez. She's such a lovely person and so into that expression of joy that is, as she says, all of our spiritual nature. I think that there are some ways in which we can actually practice and from that be able to create the kinds of results in our lives that flow from our true dreams. The dreams, as she says, are non-negotiable and very much available to us at any moment in time. So I've decided that there are really 5 key themes that showed up during our dialogue. The idea of having an instant identity shift, the idea of having a joy practice or living in joy, effortless letting go or clearing the table, being able to visualize in a way that really creates the reality that we're choosing, and the concept of non-negotiable dreams. There are paraliminals that will assist us in each of these, and that's what we're going to discuss right now. So we start out with this idea of an instant identity shift. She used the idea of it's as easy as putting on a new set of glasses and living in the now moment instead of living in all of the baggage of our mental model that we took on as vulnerable children and feeling like we're victims of the world we see. We can really step into our true role as divine beings and also co-creators of the world we see around us. So there are 2 paraliminals I felt that could be very helpful in this. The first is called belief, and this helps not only rewrite any self-defeating beliefs that we may have, but it also helps us establish very life-enhancing, life-affirming, and supportive beliefs that will get us where we want to go. So the belief paraliminal is one. The other one is called personal genius, where we really step into recognizing that beyond genius level capacity that is born in us is innately our own. And this comes from a long history on in my studies that we're not born into the world as little nummies, little empty vessels that need to be filled in by the world, but we really come in preloaded with magnificence, with brilliance, with genius. And our job as educators is to draw forth that brilliance that exists within. So it's called personal genius. And both belief and personal genius will help us in that identity shift. The second area is the idea of having a practice of joy. In the number of ways that I asked Gloria, well, if I'm not living there, how do I do that? What is the secret sauce to having this magical platform beneath us from which our life is a joyous expression? Certainly the paraliminal joy is very helpful in that. But there are two others. One is called happy for no reason. And in this, Marcy Shimoff is describing what's called the happiness set point. And if your happiness set point as a result of growing up is down here, we want to move it up there. We want to create a different experience and really see that no matter what the circumstance, there's something to be grateful for and to receive joyfully as the thing that's going to lift us to that next level. So happy for no reason, great paraliminal. The second is the one I did with Lisa Nichols, and it's called No Matter What. And this was an important concept inside of Gloria's books. So live in joy, live in happiness, no matter what. That's the non-negotiable part. You will experience that joy that you choose no matter what. And if you fall down, as Lisa says, and you need a second chance, you always get one. You get 1,000 second chances. And if you get to 999 second chances, you get another 1,000. So no matter what, non-negotiable, it helps you to build emotional resilience and stability at these new set points as you continue to expand, rather than contract in fear, to expand in joy. The third area is called effortless letting go. And the paraliminal letting go with Hale Dwoskin is, I think, one of the most important techniques of all of his work in Sedona method. It's called the triple welcoming. The idea is whatever emotions are showing up for us, welcome them. If they're not joy, if they're not happiness, if they're not contentment and peace, if they're not gratitude, it's okay. Welcome it, and then clear the table, let it go. Could you, would you, when? And that letting go process reminds you that you don't need to take on self-defeating negative emotions that aren't of the vibration of your true spiritual nature. Certainly as human beings, feeling the weight of the world, we can recognize, but then let it go and create what it is we're truly desiring. So letting go paraliminal. The second one is called positive relationships. And this really, I think, probably more than any other issue in life that creates difficult emotions for us, it's when something happens in a relationship. So positive relations is really about lifting us up and creating the experience of loving and supportive relationships that we desire. And Gloria's story about being born a Mexican, marrying somebody from the Middle East, and the traditions and the impositions that culture placed on her that really wasn't resonating with who she was, really created a powerful, I think, lesson inside of our dialogue with each other, because she didn't see it as he's a bad person because he's doing this to me. He's living within a culture and this is what's expected, but he's totally supportive of her and what she is desiring to create. So it's yeah, there's a lot of cool things in there. In positive relations as a paraliminal exactly teaches all of that. The fourth area is about visualization as a reality creator. We know that the way in which we envision and embody a future possibility is what it is that actually creates it. And while there are a number of paraliminals that can be very helpful around that, I think prosperity paraliminal is really a good one. Focus and concentration, I think, may be the best because it puts us in a position where we're actually holding those representations of the future we're creating. In Gloria's writing, she talked about an experience knowing she was going to have an experience in the future. When she visualized that, she didn't visualize it as something out there. What she visualized it is that it had already been done. And what she was doing was remembering that this occurred. And that concept shift is a really cool one. Focus and concentration will help you in doing that. It's going to enhance the clarity, the sense of presence, and really build a strong foundation from which you will create the future that you desire. And the fifth and final area is this idea that your dreams are non-negotiable. I love that sense. I called it spiritual boldness when I was talking with her. But if you think about it, it's the idea that you're here with a purpose. And the dreams, the visions that you have of the life that you're choosing to live, giving of the gifts that you have to create a difference, to make a difference in the lives of those you serve, that's non-negotiable. Nobody can take that from you. And if you're holding it, that's what will be. And there are two paraliminals I think are really helpful in this. One is called Success Built to Last. And this really anchors you in a sense of purpose and meaning, and the very reason that your actions for building the dreams that you desire flow from that deeper inner knowing. Success Built to Last is great. I created this with Stuart Emery, who wrote that book, Success Built to Last. And the final paraliminal is self-discipline. And I talk about self-discipline as someone who is disciplined is a disciple of, right? You follow a follower of. So self-discipline is being a disciple or a follower of your dream, committing yourself fully to it and consistently following through to this vision that you hold of what it is you're choosing. Self-discipline is a great way to go. It wakes you up in the morning with an idea of focus and what's going to happen, and you can review the day with and see how did you do, and reinforcing it for tomorrow. And that way every day becomes a testimony to the choices that you're making and the dreams that you hold. So those are the areas. We've got identity shift, joy practice, letting go, visualization, and non-negotiable dreams. Enjoy the paraliminals, and I hope to see you at the next MINDTRX podcast. Thanks so much for being here. Bye for now. Thanks for joining me today. I applaud your willingness to maximize your potential. You can easily use the paraliminal audio sessions in the MINDTRX app to stimulate your non-conscious mind, that's your inner mind, to reduce any resistance in your life and propel you toward the success you want. Go to www.mindtrax.com/go. These amazing audio tools have helped millions, and I encourage you to bring them into your life today. Be sure to be back for more episodes of the MINDTRX podcast. You'll find insightful conversations with authors, experts, and thought leaders, all devoted to improving your life's experience. And if you found value in this episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. Your support helps us keep the momentum of transformation going. Thank you again for being here on our MINDTRX podcast.